Are you a teacher? And do you have the goal someday of buying a home? Well, this video is for you. This is the teacher's top 5 tips to buying a home. Hi, my name is Gus Montgomery. I'm a real estate agent in the Seattle, Washington area. Also, I was a teacher for 11 years. Yeah, I was a national board certified teacher with my master's in education. And as a real estate agent, I have searched really hard on finding the best resources to help teachers like yourself fulfill their dreams of home ownership. And now I know it's extremely difficult being a teacher in today's climate. So I applaud all the educators and teachers out there for continuing to do your thing in serving our community. This video is the tips to buying a home in Washington State. Now, I will admit, most of these tips are going to help you in the long term. One of the tips will help you ASAP if you want to buy a home today. But most of these tips are for your long term benefit to help increase your buying power when you do decide to buy a home in Washington State or any state for that matter. But a lot of these tips are going to pertain to Washington State, especially. Now, all these tips I have done personally and I've helped other teachers with as well when they are looking to buy a home. So, hopefully, you find benefits in these tips and watching this video today. If you're not a teacher, please share it to all your teacher friends because they will greatly appreciate it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the teacher's top 5 tips to buying a home. All right, tip number 1 is to get your master's degree. Now, I know some teachers already have your master's degree. If you're one of those teachers, shout out to you. I want to start as an educator. I just had my bachelor's degree. And the main benefit of having your master's degree is the pay. You get paid substantially more with your master's versus your bachelor's degree. Now, as a teacher in the public school, you're paid based off the salary schedule. Now, we're going to look at the Seattle Public School salary schedule just for an example. But your pay on the salary schedule is based on years of teaching, the type of degree that you have, and the number of credits slash clock hours. We're going to talk about credits and clock hours more later in this video. But looking at the Seattle Public Schools salary schedule, let's look at year 1, step 300. That's the BA plus 45. In your first year of teaching, with your bachelor's plus 45 credits, your pay is about $69,000 a year. But if you have your master's plus 45, your pay jumps up to almost $80,000. That's roughly a $10,000 to $11,000 pay increase in your annual salary. That's really substantial as a teacher. And then if you look at the long-term opportunity as far as annual income, it's a lot higher when you have your master's. Let's take example year 1. Your pay goes all the way up to almost $86,000 with your master's degree. But I know what you're thinking, I'm a full-time teacher, I don't have the money or the time to get my master's degree, which I totally understand. I was in that same mindset as a teacher as well, because a teacher is a full-time job and a half, it feels like. But there is a great resource for those looking or get their master's degree and not break the bank for it. And that is Western Governors University, WGU. WGU is an online program that's very popular with full-time teachers. Myself, I had got my master's degree through the WGU program. It's 100% online. It has really affordable rates. So basically, for one semester of their program, their master's in teaching program, one semester equals 6 months, and it costs about $4,000. That's it. Tuition, fees, about $4,000 for one semester at WGU. On average, it takes people who are full-time teachers 1 to 2 years to complete their master's program. But me and other teachers that I've talked to were able to complete their master's through this program in 1 semester. That's right, they were able to get their master's in 6 months, meaning they got their master's for $4,000. If you go back to the salary schedule, your annual income increase is up to $11,000. If you're able to complete your master's program in 1 semester, that tuition is already paid off with your increase in salary. Now, it's not that common that teachers are able to complete their WGU master's program in 1 semester. And when you talk to the advisors of WGU, they kind of tell you not to speed through the process, but I did it, and a lot of teachers I talk to are able to do it as well. It's time consuming, but basically you're writing 1 essay per week on average. And teachers are really good with time management. So if you put this time aside on your weekends, your weekday evenings, instead of watching The Bachelor and Love is Blind, you just grind it out with the essays, you can definitely finish your master's in 1 semester, 6 months or less, for only $4,000. Then you're able to earn a lot more as a teacher with your master's degree. All right, tip number 2 is to maximize your clock hours. 1 credit equals 10 clock hours. The salary schedule, your BA plus 22.5, it goes all the way up to plus 155. That equals 1,550 clock hours. Now, we're using the Seattle Public Schools salary schedule. I know some school districts only max out at plus 90, but the same principles apply. The more credits, clock hours that you earn, the higher you move up the salary schedule. If we look at year 1, your starting salary for a bachelor's is $68,000, but then you can max out at almost $86,000 with your master's plus 155. And your clock hours and credits can be earned through a multitude of ways. Your school district and other educational organizations outside your district will offer seminars, workshops that you can attend in person or online, and you can pay for the clock hours based on the length of that seminar or workshop. But there is a more efficient way to earn clock hours that a lot of teachers don't know about. There's a program called My 24/7. My 24/7 is an online clock hour program for teachers in Washington State. Basically, you can record your own clock hours anytime you do something related to teaching outside of school. So let's say after school, you go home and watch a TED Talk about the state of teaching. Let's say the TED Talk is 1 hour. You will record that 1 hour in My 24/7 and write a reflection about the TED Talk you just watched. And My 24/7 will record that 1 clock hour. You can do it in other ways as well. If you and other teachers at different schools just meet up at a coffee shop to go over lesson plans and curriculum, and it's a 2-hour meeting with your teacher friends, you will record that 2-hour meeting as clock hours as well, as long as you write a reflection and accepted by My 24/7. So it's a really advantageous way to record your own clock hours. I did it personally. I know a lot of friends that were able to maximize their salary opportunities by using this system. So definitely check out My 24/7 if you're a teacher in Washington State. All right, tip number 3 is to become a National Board Certified Teacher. The National Board Certification process is eligible to you after your 3rd year of teaching. You basically create a teaching portfolio, essays, student work examples, and filming yourself teach in front of the class. It is critiqued by the National Board Evaluators, and if you pass, you become a National Board Certified Teacher. Now, this takes on average 1 to 2 years to complete. There's no 6-month method of this certification process, I wish. Personally, it took me 2 years to become a National Board Certified Teacher. When you become a National Board Certified Teacher in Washington State, you get a bonus of $6,000. That's right, you get a stipend for $6,000. But wait, there's more. If you teach in a high poverty school, you get the $6,000 plus an additional $5,000, which equals $11,000 in additional money per year. And the high poverty school is based on the free reduced lunch rate. If you're elementary school, your free reduced lunch rate has to be 70% or more. If you teach at a middle school, it has to be 60% or more. If you teach at a high school, it has to be 50% or more. Now, I know a lot of people get intimidated by the thought of the national boards, But there's a lot of support groups through your school district. There's local colleges that offer support groups as well. And you can talk to former teachers in your district about national boards. And you can ask them for tips and support. And that's a great thing about the teaching community. When you need help with something, teachers will be there for you, especially if they experienced it before. So, tip number 4 is utilize teacher home buying programs. Now, there's a variety of home buying programs made especially for teachers when you're buying a home. Now, these home buying programs are going to help you with the closing costs associated with a home purchase. Now, closing costs are usually 2 to 5% of the purchase price. Now, that can be paid off by the buyer or the seller based on negotiation, but in a seller's market, usually the buyer will have to assume those closing costs. Now, let's use the example of a home that costs $500,000. 5% of that is $25,000. So your closing costs in this example would be $25,000. Now, depending on the exact teacher home buying program, you can save hundreds or even thousands of dollars on your closing costs when you use one of these programs. Now, these programs will offer you grants that you don't have to pay back that will help you in your closing costs when you buy a home. All right, tip number 5 is to utilize extra pay in your schools. Now, this option and this tip is not as lucrative as the previous 4 tips, but there's money to be had. So, working as a teacher for your school in your school district, there is countless opportunities to make more money. This could be through stipends or extra pay through coaching, becoming the athletic director, in charge of an after school club, be working a sporting event. There's a lot of different ways to make extra money as a teacher. For myself, I was a coach at my school. I was also the athletic director. I have led different organizations. I've led different clubs after school. I was in charge of school patrol. You know, when they have little crossing guards at the elementary schools, I was in charge of that. I got paid extra for that. So there's a lot of different ways to make money through after school programs. Now, I know there's a talk of, teacher burnout. Obviously, don't do something just for the money. Pick something that you will enjoy doing. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed being a coach. I enjoyed being the athletic director. School patrol was really fun as well because you guys go on a field trip at the end of the school year, and that's really fun. So find something that interests you, and the pay is not going to be that lucrative. The stipends aren't going to be that great. If we're being honest, like the pay versus the time you spend in these after school opportunities is not high, but those like stipends and hourly rates, they add up. So find something in your school or school district that you have interest in doing. And at the end of the day, it's also another opportunity to connect with the students in your community. All right, that is it for the teacher's top 5 tips to buying a home. If you find value in this content, please like and subscribe to his YouTube channel, and I'll continue to provide more value going forward. Until next time, take care.